Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, here with my special guest, Eric Cooper from Unfair Sports. If you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. What's up there, Coopster? Good to see you, man.
Hey man, good to see you, my friend. And yeah, man, hit those like button. You guys, there's like 7 dudes waiting in here. You're waiting to listen to us. Like, hit the like button. That way you won't get any what's the stuff I watch YouTube videos with my son at night, like little short, like funnies and stuff like that. And how ridiculous and all the fun trick shot guys and so like when I'm watching the sports stuff, it'll go through, and then every once in a while I get this political ad, and I'm like, I don't want to see that stuff. You hit the like button, they're gonna be like, this dude likes sports, and so let's feed him some more sports. So you got to rule the algorithm.
Rule the algorithm. Hey, that's one way to put it. I always tell people, don't be a freeloader. It's free, but don't be a freeloader. Just hit the damn like button, man. Help us out. Welcome to the show, everybody. Coltrane, Bishop Frank, Stephen G, Carlton Bedford, good to see all you guys in here. Sooner Legend, Topher B, good to see all you guys, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Share the stream. Make sure you let everybody know we're here. Appreciate everybody coming in. Got to get into some of this conversation. Hey, listen, this is this time of year, folks, but this is one of the ones that nobody really wanted to see. Nic Anderson is in the transfer portal. Can't say that it's a huge surprise that he's in the transfer portal, but it's definitely one of those ones that stings a little more than the others. Coop, what was your feelings about this? I mean, I know I kind of expected it. I think a lot of the things that we're hearing, and I don't know how much is real, how much is not about as far as the medical team is concerned or whatever. And we're not going to get into that a whole lot, guys. That's just not what we're going to do. But there's that narrative out there is that I think that's clearly you had an injury that I don't know that it was misdiagnosed. I know that he wasn't able to play this year. And whatever we talk about, I mean, whatever you say, I mean, bottom line is this is a guy that was definitely sorely missed as far as the offense is concerned. One of many, of course, but you expected big things from Nic Anderson. We expected big things from Nic Anderson moving forward. What does this mean for the Oklahoma Sooners to you?
What it means to me. I mean, as a person, not a damn thing. And that's what we all need to realize. Like tonight spent the night putting the Christmas decorations up with my family. And at no point did Nic Anderson hitting the transfer portal affect my ability to enjoy my family. If you don't have a family, hey, if you go watch yourself Braveheart tonight or Troy or something like that, and I promise you, you'll feel silly. But just as someone who a purveyor of Oklahoma football and even a fan, yeah, of course it sucks. Like you lose a guy who had 10 touchdowns. We had a lot of expectations for him. Think he gets hurt right before game 1, right before Temple, and that was pretty much it. He tried to give it a go in Tennessee, just wasn't there. And I just say this is like, there are some times that you just need a new environment where you can reset expectations. Sure. Because I mean, let's be honest. Like if he did come back in, in the season and, just couldn't just really ever get right, all of a sudden you're like, man, this guy sucks. And, you see that pretty often, with most fan bases. And so, I mean, it's not good. But the old adage of like the best ability is availability.
Yep.
I mean, I'll say this, like, I would rather. Here's the thing: is like one of my first takes on this was like, well, you can't really fully rely on Andrell Anthony, Nic Anderson, Jalil Farouk, or next year, going into next year, maybe not even Jaden Gibson. You can't really fully 100% rely on them because this whole situation this year, whoever's the fault, right? And so you can't rely on these things. And so like you need to go out and get a few other guys to come in, and you get a few other guys to come in, and guys that you can really rely on, like the Brown kid out of Kentucky. That like he seems like an exciting player. So yeah, or Hudson out of Texas Tech. Maybe he's looking for something too. But you can't bring in a bunch of guys and then still keep all of these guys. So like something's going to have to happen, because if you ride it out and then the injury issues continue next year, maybe it's not even the quad issues with Nic for this year. Maybe next year he has an ankle and he can't really escape that.
Sure. And sometimes these things happen once they get a little bit of snake bitten. And I think that's really why I wanted to kind of get in here and talk and have you come in. And I mean, I think a lot of people, I feel like a lot of times us as podcasters and content creators, we're here to put out fires lately. You know what I mean? It just seems like we're here to put out fires lately because there is a lot of concern. And listen, we're not used to going through what we're going through as Sooner fans. Watching this many losses pile up and the injuries like this pile up. And so there's panic. And I think that, and I said this to Kai earlier on Twitter, he was like, what the, and just freaking out and everything. And I was like, hey, relax. I mean, the thing is we kind of expected this. Everybody's got to get down to a certain number now. And it's still 85 for Oklahoma. If you're in the SEC, that 105 is, you can have 105 players, but on the active roster, you can only have 85. They're only going to allow it. That's what the SEC is doing. So if you have 18 guys that you got on signing day, which was yesterday, by the way, and
just in case you didn't notice.
Yeah. I mean, if you got those 18 guys in a normal class, you're usually looking somewhere, in the neighborhood of 24, 28, 30, even sometimes, depending on what it is. But remember that we talked about the plan was they're going to give Venables another year. They want to take the money that they would have had to spend on a buyout and put it into NIL fundage that you could go and get difference makers, immediate difference makers. In order to do that, you have to clear out some roster space, right? So I would just say that it is what it is. I mean, I hate it that Nic's gone. Look, he was injury prone. I mean, I guess he was hurt as a true freshman a little bit, but this guy was look, you can't blame it on Nic for being injury prone or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that are saying this other things, and I think that that's where Nic is kind of at right now. I think more than anything, what I wanted to bring and show and talk about was that, look, we got a new offensive coordinator. There's always going to be turnover with stuff like this. When you get new coaches, you're going to get new players with them. We saw Jackson Arnold enter the portal yesterday. Not a huge surprise. If you're me, it damn sure wasn't a huge surprise. I've been telling you guys he was leaving since Tennessee game. Told you. It's the world we live in college football now. And the ability, look, if you're Jackson, you still got suitors out there and money. And if you're Oklahoma and you know that he either is going to have to win the job or he's not going to be the number one guy next year, you cannot continue paying him like a number one guy. This is an NFL model now.
True. It's very, very true. Because I mean, look at Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns, they paid all that money to old Rub and Tug, and they are unable to do anything. The dude has absolutely been garbage since he came back from that injury.
Rub and Tug.
And now it gives us some Jameis Winston, which anytime that an action can equal Jameis Winston appearances, I'm all for it. But I'll just say this, Jason, we all know what the Trojan War was, right? No, that's not like the current NIL feud down at USC. That like the one with Achilles, right? So there's two books. There's the Odyssey and the Iliad. Look at you. You didn't even know that I knew stuff like this, did you? So there's the Odyssey and the Iliad. It's two different vantage points for the same war, right? Achilles is a hero in one of them and a villain in the other. And there's two sides to every single story. And so, I mean, perception is a lot of this. Is there a chance that Nic Anderson got absolutely just mismanaged with this injury? Like they were wrong about it and it just prolonged it? Sure. Is there, a world where it was just a crappy injury and he was frustrated and at some point you're going to kind of pop? Sure. But here's the thing is like, I don't think those are details that any insider, any of us can ever know, because that's a HIPAA violation, and like folks could lose their jobs if they're like, oh yeah, this is what would happen, right. And so it's all hearsay for what we see on there. Yeah, the medical staff, it's a frustrating situation, and I understand that, and I understand as fans we want, like, listen, we got to have a target for our angst, and this is Sooner football. Yep. I can promise you this is if none of these guys transferred out, we'd be bitching about something. We'd be absolutely bitching about something. And but that's the definition of fandom. Like I promise you, there's every single team that has had a struggle this year. Look at Ole Miss. What do you think their fans are feeling right now? They thought they were winning a national championship this year. They went out and spent. Yeah. Like mama got the black card and went to the market. Like they went out, and so did Ohio State.
Got everybody they wanted. They forked out the cash to get that.
But I will say this: Nic did not sit out. I can promise you this: Nic did not sit out this entire year just to say, "F it, I'm not going to hurt myself again."
He has a torn quadriceps, guys. That's real.
That's not. It's. And here's the thing. Let's just rewind. Has this ever happened to our staff in the past? Did it happen last year or the year before that? No, we didn't have any of these things. This is just a fluke. Again, some Sooner fan said something to the dog crap out of the Red Solo Cup guy, and we got hexed. So I don't, it sucks. So
it does suck. It's not cool. It's not fun. It's not fun, guys. I mean, the bottom line is it's just really not. But here's the deal: Oregon is not the only big spender left without losses. There's gonna be some losses even there. Right now, they're not losing anybody because they're in the damn playoff and they're the number one seed. The longer they stay, the better off they are. So truth is this: once you get through the playoff and stuff, you're going to even see more of this go on, and there'll be firings and hirings and things like that. And look, in order to get to where, look, here's the deal. I don't know how I'm with you on it. I don't know how many of these guys we were going to get back anyway. I mean, you would hope that you get, listen, I would, for the sake of leadership, I'd love to have Jaleel back. Love to have him back. Right.
Time out, Jason. What percentage of our fan base after the bowl game last year would have helped Jaleel pack? Would have helped Jaleel pack a suitcase?
Yes.
Would you say upper 80%? Most of us would have been. Listen, who do you want to borrow my truck, or you want me to drive it? So I'll just say this: let's learn to be a little bit more grateful for a lot of these things, because I remember watching early 2000 Sooners, and anytime that Brandon Everidge would get hurt, Matt McCoy would come walking in, and I'd be like, what in the absolute hell? Because I played against Matt, and Matt looked like me, same size and everything, except for I went baseball, he went football. And I just remember going, man, I hate that guy. Like, why is he ever in the game? Eric Bassey years later. But then you look back, you're like, man, those were really good players. Like, McCoy was probably a better safety than we've had, in the past 10 years up until the past couple. So, let's just be happy with, there's a new excitement. This is a phase. This is going to pass. If you want me to pull out my Miss Cleo and tell you the future, Jason, we're going to be pissed about transfers for probably the next 6 or 7 days. rumors are going to start poking out and crazy stuff's going to happen and we're going to be pissed off. And are we going to win a game? And then we're going to get in the offseason. We're going to get those first rumors about dudes who are just absolutely balling out, whether the freshmen or transfer portal guys. And so we're going to get excited about that again. And then we're going to have the lull to where it's just like, On3 puts out a bunch of random clickbait crap and it just looks terrible. And we're all pissed about that stuff. And then we're going to stand up for our team going into the next year because we don't have enough team players on the preseason, all Big 12, all SEC. Jesus. But then at the end of it, we're going to start a game again here, first week of September, and we get to, whatever happens with the staff, we're going to be watching. We'll turn on the game minutes before. And guys, I promise you this. Every single person that has said anything to me says that we have perhaps the biggest NIL budget for this transfer portal. So we're going to go play ball. I've not heard nobody who's ever came to me with anything has said, man, I just hope that we are going to have enough money to spend the transfer. I think we're going to spend plenty of money. It's going to start. If Mateer hits, it's going to start there.
Yeah.
Would I love Concepcion? Yeah, I would love Concepcion.
Oh, dude, I like that Concepcion too. That guy's a dog.
I would absolutely love him. I've seen, you look at like teams like Florida right now, they've lost a lot of like players. And you see some of these SEC teams with the 25, 26 recruits that they just took in. There's a lot of guys that they're pushing out because there's going to be, a couple thousand kids in the transfer portal, and it's going to be crazy.
Right.
Yeah, we lost a quarterback that, again, a lot of this fan base would help pack a few weeks ago.
Listen, I'm going to just say this, and this is no shade to Jackson Arnold whatsoever. I think that there's a lot of things. I've said this a number of times in a number of ways. A lot of things transpired to make this offense be as putrid as it was. Part of it was Jackson Arnold. His inability to process information quickly, to his unwillingness to try the ball down the field to open receivers. It is what it is. I can't tell you why he had the mental block to not be able to do it, or he was so hesitant to go downfield. Is it because of Seth Luttrell? Maybe. But I know this. You can't have that. You can't have it. And so, again, if the quarterback is the one place that you got to start everything with, right? And I'll say another thing. I love the idea of you got to have, I believe that it started when you anointed Jackson the starting quarterback before the season ever started. There's got to be competition for every spot. And of all places that there should be competition to win that job, it's Oklahoma. You don't just get to come here and be the quarterback just because of your name or anything else.
Who was the last? And everybody in the chat, I'm gonna let this marinate for a few minutes. When was the last time that we had a super, super young heir apparent quarterback that basically was going to be handed the job?
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler?
Yeah, and that's look. Go ahead.
Before that.
Handed the job? Nobody.
How about Rhett Bomar?
Oh, yeah, Rhett Bomar.
So, guys, there's
some kids pretty well, but yeah, okay.
I was at every single one of those games. That was a TCU loss, and TCU fans were wandering around going, I don't even know what to do right now. Like, we
don't have to keep
we thought about winning. But I just say it's like sometimes, Jason, I agree with you, is when you are donned and don't get to earn the spot, and you don't have to earn the spot, and you're not really, really pressed, and it just for the wrong person, it could be a wrong situation.
Landry didn't get the job until.
Well, Landry got the job because
Bradford of injury, but he was a backup that had already been there.
And
then he won the job from there. He didn't get it handed to him.
And I would say Landry is probably the furthest thing from like cocky or entitled.
Yeah. Landry Jones still occupies a lot of space in record books nationwide. So I wouldn't call it that. As far as Spencer Rattler's concerned, what the hell did he do?
He had really good first halves, and that was under Lincoln Riley. So I mean, like
sometimes he did, sometimes he was trash.
Well,
like the Red River game.
Both two years in a row.
Yeah, the Red River game was not his thing, right? And here's the other thing. But Benji, see, you come in and say Mateer wins the job. It's his from day one. No, it isn't. Hawkins will compete for QB1, and you can believe this. I got a video that's coming out. I've tried to get it out earlier today. I had an issue. There was a glitch. It wasn't working right. For the folks that believe that John Mateer is going to walk in here from a Mountain West school, numbers and all, and that Michael Hawkins is just going to step aside gracefully and let him freaking have the job. Are you insane?
Yeah, Mateer, I would say Mateer has the advantage, and he should win the job. But Michael Hawkins isn't sticking around to be QB2. Now, Michael Hawkins, I think, with plan in place,
if he gets beat fair and square for the job, do you think that he will stay in practice? Of course he will, and get ready. I'm going to tell you now, Hawkins needs to develop. Yes. What do you think he's doing working with Kevin Murray? What do you think he's doing? What do you think he was doing the whole time that he got to sit on the bench? I'm going to ask you guys a question. All these games that they played he played, never did we get to see what he was after Kevin Johns became the quarterback coach and started actually working with these guys. We didn't get to see that. We got to see the end result of, and honestly, that 5 minutes of that South Carolina game, that's the only time that he really wasn't good. You can say what you want about the Texas game. That was the game plan was disgustingly bad. Disgustingly bad. We've seen in small samples that he actually wasn't afraid to make the throw. He wasn't afraid to take off. And there was runs that Jackson was making in the Alabama game, that long run. Hawkins would have been in the end zone when he got tackled. At the time he got tackled, Hawkins would have already been in the end zone. I disagree with what you're saying, Professor, and you too, Benji. You guys don't know how long it's going to take somebody to develop. You don't. It's easy to sit there and just say that, but you don't know that.
I just don't like speaking in definites because
I don't love it either. And I'm just going to say he's going to make it hard on Mateer to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Like
if Mateer wins the job, I'm like, awesome. First off, he's not even in the portal yet. My guess is he'll be there. Fine. But I think it's a mistake to anoint him day one the quarterback. It's a mistake. It was a mistake last year. It's a mistake now.
That's kind of my point. Is it typically will always be a mistake because I promise you, Nick Saban didn't win national championships by promising shit to people. Like he didn't. You had a good year. That's great. Do better next year. Oh, you regressed. Guess what? We got to take your spot. That was it. And you saw Nick Saban with the biggest tater tot move ever. With the switcheroo for quarterbacks in the middle of the national championship game.
That's right.
And so I say this is like anybody who's like, well, he played in the Mountain West. I really don't care about that. Like Cam Ward played at, what is it? Holy Cross or whatever, Incarnate Word. Then he came,
right.
Yeah. Then he came to Washington State, which is bigger boy football as a quarterback. Like if you listen, you go and you watch his film. I mean, the dude can rope it. That's not going to change. Now, do I think that he is going to have the rushing numbers? Fun fact, Jason. I think he had
813, I think is what it was.
Rushes. I think he had like 163 rushes. But I think like 25% of those rushes were like scrambles on a called pass. He did that quite a bit. He was sacked over 30 times. Like he didn't have a great defensive line. And so he was running for his life. So that guy's nimble. He can move around quite a bit. And he reminds me, and I don't even want to say this to you because I know that you feel the same. My life has changed a little bit in this. He looks like a more athletic and more accurate Bo Nix.
Okay.
Now, Mateer throws some interceptions, but I can promise this: I'm a Denver Broncos fan. I've watched every single game this year, and Bo Nix is balling. I mean, he's doing a great job. But he did great at Oregon. Like you put him in the right situation, he's going to be good. If you put a lot of pressure on him, that crumbles a lot of guys. But he looks like he is a guy who just gives 0 Fs, and like nobody believed in him. He just goes out and plays and has fun. And I think that, excuse me, I think that's a difference between some people is when you look at Baker was good at football, but Baker loved playing football.
Yep.
Like that drove him. It drove him to go out and compete and do those things. You look at Kyler was just really, really good at football. And Kyler just liked being good at stuff, whether it was baseball or football. And then you look at Jalen Hurts, and it was business. Jalen Hurts had an agenda, and he had a plan, and he was going to work his ass off for it. And I think that if you look at Jackson, I think football was just something that he's good at. I don't know if he actually loved it. Now, for the rumors of him being unsupported or disliked in the locker room, and they were glad to see him going, that's bullshit. Like, do people could he rub several people the wrong way? Sure.
Who are we talking about?
Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jackson. I just don't think that football is really the big driving factor in his life. I think that Hawkins is a guy who, this is his craft. This is his skill, and he wants to hone his craft because, that's how his dad raised him is, be good. If you're going to be out here, let's get better. I see Mateer, and I just see a guy that wants to have fun. He's just out there just balling and just slinging it. And he just like lives play by play. And I respect that. And I like that.
Most of these top portal guys ain't coming to compete. They want a starter's contract, then walk along somewhere else then. Because at Oklahoma, you have to win the fucking job.
I mean, that's true. But I also don't think that they're going to go after somebody really, really hard that they don't think can probably win that job in certain areas.
But my question is, and here's the reason I'm saying it, this is what giving a guy the starter's money got. I mean, if you're looking at the screen right now, guys, this is where they ranked everywhere. Fumbles lost. You know how many of those were Jackson Arnold's who got all the money?
6 or 7.
6 or 7 of them, half. That's 133rd in the country. That's worst in America. Okay, 131st in yards per play, 131st in pass yards per completion. Total offense 118th, passing offense 121st, first downs 106th. Guys, doing it that way, it's not the way to go. The guy is going to work on this. Look, believe this. Jack, I don't know why Jackson was in the game. I don't. But
which one?
I don't know why he was in the game from then on out. I mean, I understood taking Michael out when you did in the South Carolina game. I get it. You should have stuck him back in at some point.
So 12 fumbles for Jackson, 6 of them lost.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes to this is with all the receiver injuries and all the offensive line injuries, you had people who weren't ready to play that had to go out and play.
And here's the other thing. Look, Cam Ward, he taught this, your guy picked up the offense in 1 year. He's been there 2 years. He had Cam Ward last year, and he had Mateer this year. So to think that, he's not going to know the offense. Well, he's teaching you to these other guys in a year's time. You know what I mean? It is what it is. All I'm saying is I wouldn't go and just assume that Michael Hawkins is just he's gonna step aside gracefully and
that's
I take the fucking job.
That's not going to happen. Now I think that if done correctly, Arbuckle's going to say to Mateer, "Here's the deal," because I mean that's his call. I mean, does he want to take him to does he want to vouch for the money? Because I can promise you this: Jackson being gone frees up about $1 million in NIL. So that's Mateer will be the number one quarterback in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, Mensa is going to be, if Mensa decides to move along, he's going to be there. I think Fafita's season this year really, nobody really believes that he's going to continue his success without all those big receivers and McMillian. I really think this is he's going to have the conversation with Mateer, and he's going to say, "Hey, I understand that the system already. You know that Michael Hawkins is here. He's a year in the program. He's seen everything. He's had game time. You're going to have an advantage when it comes time to knowing the play calls and stuff like that. But you have to win this job." And I think that's how most of those conversations going. Anybody reporting that dudes went to where because they were promised starting jobs. I mean, you can say a lot, and these coaches will say a lot to get you there, but they're not going to. That's not the case.
Well, I mean, and look, you can pay them starter money. I mean, but all I'm saying is, this is Oklahoma. There's a different level of expectation for your quarterback here. There just is.
Yeah, especially when you walk in the damn stadium. When you walk in the stadium and you see all that stuff out there, and then you go look at books, and one dude who doesn't have the statue has all the stats. You got another guy like Jalen Hurts, which you probably watched growing up, and you're, really fall in love with football phase. You track back to Sam Bradford, Jason White. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. And I don't, look at how he treated DG last year. like if we had our offense from last year, this year,
oh brother,
and I'm not going to dive into that.
Yeah, let's not go there, but that makes me sick.
If you have that offense, I mean,
if you have that offense, then you got this defense that comes with it, and think about that.
So that's another reason. It's like
this is bordering on elite. At least I'll put it bordering on elite. I think there's an elite defense, and it certainly would have been if you had any kind of offensive firepower whatsoever, even just any complimentary offense to it.
Yeah,
I don't think it would have just taken DG. DG would have helped.
Oh no, I'm just saying last year's offense, because you put DG in this year's situation, he's going to be exactly where Tua is. I mean, he's going to be one hit away from his career being over. Right. So I mean, he's pretty. I bet you he's pretty excited he didn't stick around. So but let's get back to the. Uh-oh.
I don't know what just happened there, but it kicked you and brought you right back.
I don't know. We're talking about the Nic Anderson leaving.
Yeah. Let's move on to this.
Did it do it again?
It just did it again. Let me get rid of this screen share. Hold on.
Yeah,
all right.
Your screen share is killing me here.
What that was.
He's not going to be the last one. Nic Anderson's not going to be the last one. There's more coming. So when I say buckle up, it's going to happen. There's going to be more guys coming, and I tell you this is to give you some, sugar with the lemon is.
I like this.
I know for a fact we have a lot of our younger defenders who are trying to get tampered with. A lot of the guys on our team, nothing is, but they're all sticking around as of right now. But
trying to get some extra cash.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know of one defensive lineman, and I'm not going to play super coy here, but after the Tennessee game, they started getting calls.
Of course.
After they saw that first SEC game, and they were like, okay, well, he's doing it against this people. After that,
freshman. Of course, they were tampering with him immediately.
But I say this is everything I'm hearing. Like the defense is staying pretty well intact.
Yeah.
So all the big names are going to be sticking around. There's going to be trimming of the fat, which is it just is what it is. But if I had to really base it, there will be no more outside of graduation. I think we should be keeping everybody.
Mm-hmm. Did you leave with? No, that's not necessarily the fact. Now, what I would say is I like what you were saying a second ago, Zofix, where you said if he stays, maybe Latrell's still here. I don't know that from everything that we continue to hear about what was going on in there, and you'll find out more as time goes on, more will come out. But it was a toxic situation in that locker room and in those meeting rooms when they had meetings. It sounds right.
Listen, it was a little. I mean, I guess the closest thing that I can think about Seth Luttrell is it almost seemed like little man syndrome. There was a lot of stuff to where he, it was like any movie that you've seen where like the punk son takes over for the older father who built the business, and he's just a prick walking around. I mean, like that's basically what he was.
We talked about what happened in the one touchdown they'd had in freaking weeks, and where they checked out of the play, and he hits Brennan, and he throws a shit fit at halftime at EJ about them changing the play.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if my sister had testicles, she'd be my brother. So we could do the ifs all day long. So
right,
I don't know. Today's day and age.
But in the end, I think that things do happen for a reason. Look, it was a bad hire. We heard it from Coach V. It was a bad hire. I don't know who made the hire. I don't care who made the hire at this point. He took it. He took responsibility for that. This is what Brent Venables does. Unlike a lot of coaches in the country, he is, accountable to a fault. Accountable to a fault. I love it though. The one thing we know is you weren't going to get to this point, and whether or not, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Ben Arbuckle was my number one guy. He wasn't. He wasn't my third guy. But I do like him. I've watched this offense and what they do. He's willing to pretty much get in any set that he thinks is going to help him score.
Dude,
jumbo set? I've never seen a freaking air raid guy run a jumbo set.
He's got some I formation. He's run some 12 personnel. Like, listen, it's not like when people hear air raid, they think of Texas Tech. And when we had Lincoln Riley, listen, I promise you, I was a year and a half in front of most people with Lincoln Riley. That I felt like we were turning into Texas Tech North, and but Lincoln Riley wasn't even air raid. Like that's not. I mean, it's people try to like compartmentalize you into like an option, pro style, or air raid, and it's like there's so many variations. And like pro style, like most of the most of the NFL is going to more of a spread formation type of offense. I mean, look at what Jane Daniels is doing up in there in Washington. I mean, that you're able to do that. Now, teams like Baltimore and teams like Pittsburgh, they still like to just, make you earn every ounce of what you get. Even Seattle getting a little bit back to that. San Francisco. So you got those too. But I just going under freaking center. Like, I don't know how many games I was at. I mean, probably 6 different games this year to where I'm like, this is where we would typically go under center. But since that's not in the playbook, because it's apparently hard to teach to go put your hands up on someone's ass and let them give the ball to you, like it was so frustrating. I don't like it. So, I mean, listen, there's going to be a lot of stuff, and we need this hire to work, right? I'm not ever going to debate that, but like, he doesn't have to come in and put us at top 10 defense or offense next year. Like, he needs to come in, and we just need to be able to be a threat with every possession. And because it is a joke, this year, it almost felt like we were playing. My daughter plays gaga ball, where they play like the little ball in the circle, and you're just in this confined space, and it's hard and it's chaotic, and it's what it felt like our our offense just was the entire year. Is just you're playing in a, line of scrimmage, 25 yards out, and that was it. It was like, I don't know, like you if you had to run a lot the week after you played us, you'd probably be out of shape because you didn't have to do much on, on defense against us this year.
Right. Yeah, listen, and I mean, could you imagine if they didn't have to be on the field for so many possessions? It's not always about time of possession, it's the amount of possessions that you got to continue to go back out there. Because they didn't always lose the time of possession battle.
Yeah, true.
But there was a lot of extra possession. It's that 1 or 2 extra possessions a half in these games that were close, because a lot of them were close. And that's the difference between, here they are. They were number 4 in the country, I think, in forced fumbles. No, second in defense. Yeah, and second in defensive touchdowns. I mean, this defense did what it could do, and you aren't running the ball on them. Their rush defense was 16th in the country at 105.5. The difference in 16th and first is like a couple of yards. It's just not that big of a difference. Scoring defense, look, could have been better, I guess. But I think that,
I mean, still, there's most of that scoring defense, and it takes in pick sixes and fumbles for a touchdown. I mean, I think defensive efficiency, it's a top 10 defense, and that's what we were talking about. And
that's what I'm getting at. I think, and you probably better next year, right? So the doom and gloom stuff. Listen, I don't love that we lost Nic Anderson. I hope that you end up bringing Jaden Gibson back. I really do, right? Is he going to be ready to be back? I don't know. We're going to find out.
And that's what I'm saying is it's hard to go in, because if all 4 of those guys decided, hey, let's return, all 5 of them, all 6 of them, whatever. Every single one of them says, hey, let's return. Like, how confident are you going into the next season thinking that none of them are going to get hurt again? Because, and now, yeah, every single person that plays wide receiver, running back, quarterback, offensive line, defense, whatever, they could all get hurt. But guys who've had significant injuries like that, and Farouk has had the foot thing for quite a long time, and it just seems like it's had those issues. Andrell, hell, listen, I've had 3 knee surgeries, and one of mine took me damn near 2 years before I could run appropriately.
Well, I mean, I was telling somebody this a couple of weeks ago. They were talking about Andrell, that he was dogging it. And, I don't love that. When people come in here and start saying shit like that about these players, I don't have it. I don't want to hear it, because we don't know that. Like earlier, somebody saying that Nick was just dogging it. We know that he had a torn muscle that it requires. He was gone. He was gone. That was period. And look, whatever happened, but I'm not putting that on Nick. Shit happens. Injuries do happen. And in the end, there's a lot of guys out there. Everybody has to get down to that 105 spot. All the SEC guys have to get down to it too. Everybody's got to get to 85 schollies, another 20 that you can have as walk-ons or whatever it is for your practice squad, that kind of stuff. It's definitely changing. Okay. I love all this how I'm talking here, bro. I love all this shit.
I saw that too. Farouk can come back. Every single one of them can come back.
I think they can. Now,
if you want my predictions,
please.
I do not know. Decisions are not made in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
I think Farouk returns if he has a spot to return to.
I think he loves it there.
So
he didn't leave whenever he could have with Lincoln.
Yeah. So I think there's that. I think Dion takes his jump to the NFL. I think his measurables will help him out. He'll have a smaller, 3 or 4 year rookie contract. I think he has the, he's just a physical freak, and I think that he fits.
Who are we talking?
Burks.
Yeah, you think he's going to the league?
I think he goes to the NFL. I really do. I think Jaden Gibson's back. This guy has a chance to be the guy returning next year. He has a chance to be the guy. And that's I promise you, 2 years ago, if you'd have said that to somebody, they'd have said there's no way. because I mean, he wants to prove some stuff. Andrell, man, if he's healthy, I'd like to see him at least try it out in this, in the spring and see what it looks like, because I think he could really eat in this offense. But I don't know if Andrell, the mentality piece of his injury, like that's tough. So, I mean, if he can't come back to the field and play, I think I think he has unfinished business from last year. So, I mean, so that's just my predictions. Man, I think that, oh man, I'm excited to see him. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But I just, I think that's it with the receivers. I fully expect a specific tight end, which everybody loves to hate, to be gone. I bet that room gets pretty cleaned. Maybe every single one of them. I do. I thought that for a while because
I don't like seeing them run the entire offense through Bauer Sharp, but I don't think he's terrible. I just think that he doesn't need to be, doing fast guy shit.
No, he doesn't. But I also feel that, and I'm trying to be careful at the moment. I also feel that he is, I think he is a pretty self-aware person. And I think the amount of time that he saw was, how overmatched he was. I think he's gone. I think he leaves, and I think he maybe goes to a little bit of a lower division and see if you can learn. It's hard to learn how to do something at a higher level when it's up in the SEC. It just really is. It's hard to come from Bartlesville Central High School or wherever he came from. But I just truly think that that tight end room might get entirely cleaned. And that may even be Devon Mitchell.
Yeah, I think you could be right there. All right, here's the thing, guys. Hey, thank you very much, Sooner Legend and Bishop Frank, for gifting one Hall of Fame college football channel membership. You can become
super chat.
Yeah, and we got another super chat as well from Nelio. He says, good evening, everyone. Hey, Jason, thank you, Nelio, for the super chat, my friend. Always taking care of us in here. You guys can become a member of the Hall of Fame Mafia as well for as low as $2.99 a month. That gets you into some of our we have a lot of members only stuff, including our Discord. Our Discord is members only. You have to be a member to get into our Discord. So we enjoy having that. It's good times. There's a lot of trash talking going on in there. Love that stuff. You're mad. Why Nic Anderson? Yeah, I hate that part. But I think that so make sure you jump in there and do that. You can do that right next to the little like button, which I was just looking at. That's why I was kind of stumbling here. We got 32 likes. We've had 500 people in here. Come on now. Let's run those likes up. Run those likes up. So we would appreciate it. Believe in Michael Hawkins with more reps and experience. Listen, I do too. And look, I'm not saying I have a problem with bringing in material. I think the more the better. And I think that, I kind of buy into the old Bill Walsh philosophy that you should draft a quarterback every year. That's what he believed in the NFL. Yeah. I think you should get a quarterback every damn year because you just never know. You just never know who's going to be the guy.
That's why we took Jet, off Oklahoma State's hands is because, and listen, there's a chance that guy doesn't ever play at Oklahoma, but his tape is
just taking him away from them and making him cry about it was awesome.
No, but I mean, I don't say that because of him. I just think that
I think he's pretty good, actually.
I think that one of these two guys, hopefully you get, if Mateer comes in, hopefully he can come in and win the job. Nelio, hey man, they're tearing the Cardinals down too. So I just don't have. I have no joy in my life anymore. But they're getting rid of. It's funny. It's never mind. I'm not going to go there. It's not a baseball podcast. But no, I think that if Mateer comes in, I think it's good. But I think if Mateer doesn't come in,
you guys keep going. You guys are gifting all kinds of memberships as well. You guys and thank those guys. Appreciate that a lot. Make sure you jump in. Hey, you better take advantage. Make sure you jump in there and get into our Discord. Lots of stuff going on in there. We're going to actually start doing some streams inside Discord, I think. So make sure you get in there. Big Trap, I know you got one of those the other day, so you should make sure you're in our Discord. I hadn't seen you in there yet, and that's not, I mean, come on now. Come on now.
But I was saying is, if you don't take a quarterback to come compete with Hawkins, you're kind of doing the same thing, just giving Hawkins the job. Because I mean, at this point, I think that you go with Mateer for a year or two, and then you go to Hawkins, and then O'Neal's going to be ready. And if you have any worry about Jaden O'Neal right now, put it away. You should have less than zero worry about Jaden O'Neal. I mean, I think we'd have to have a complete meltdown in this entire program, get torn down to the studs next year before I would say anything else would change on that front.
Yeah. Yeah. And just so we understand, we can, whatever's going on with the medical staff, and I am not going to speculate on what I know because it's not a ton. I've told you guys over and over again that there's a lot of stuff out there. I've heard from some of you guys. I've heard from other people, but everything I hear doesn't mean. I hear a lot of different stories. A lot of different stories. So I'm just telling you, we're not going to get into all that stuff. Let Parker talk about it. Let Parker talk about it, and let Caden's mom talk about it. In the end, it's not a BV decision to make on who their medical staff is, just so we understand that. He doesn't get to make that decision.
That decision was made before Lincoln was here. So
right.
It's been that. But also, again, like if the medical staff was just total shit, it would be the entire team, not just one side of the ball. And that's what makes it tough.
I have a hard time believing that it's nothing, but I don't know that it's everything either. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know.
Listen, if you feel some heat, that means something's warming up. Like that's right. Just is what it is. Like, but I also don't think that, if anybody's ever seen Jerry Seinfeld, one of Jerry Seinfeld's stand-up comedy pieces, I think it's I'm telling you for the last time, he talks about doctors, and he's like, basically takes a crack at doctors and says, first day of medical school, they pull the chart down with the guy with the open mouth, the tube that goes down to his stomach. And he's like, these doctors don't have any clue what's going on. That's why they come in and they talk to you for a second and they leave. They're going back to their office to, try to figure out what the hell that thing was, looking up in medical books. And I don't think that this medical staff is just dipshits. I mean, this wasn't here last year. It wasn't here the year before. It wasn't here before that. Like, it's just a shitty situation, and I don't think the rumors help anything. And I also don't.
They don't.
I don't necessarily, because you're gonna, even if you're just commenting on it. I mean, you got to think a lot of people see a tweet from someone and they just read that tweet, and then they're like, "Oh, apparently OU's medical staff was just like stabbing guys, incorrectly in surgery," and this rumors just grow and grow and grow. And so, but again, it's.
May just be the physical. I'm not going to speculate on this, guys. What would make you know that, Mac? What would make you know that? I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like we're going to sit here and grasp at straws, guys. The program is not on life support. For the love of God, it's not on life support.
Yeah, it's certain people. Some people major in the minors, and but again. We don't have anything else to look forward to for 9 months, and so that's why I said.
Oh, I know, man. I can't wait for all this. The whole damn 9 months.
Because, and again, I say this. Maybe these guys just. I mean, it's so highly unlikely, but you bring every single one of these dudes back next year in game 2. We're dealing with 4 injured wide receivers again. Does anybody else really want to go into that again? So it's just kind of good for all parties to get your new start, because I mean, I tell you this, if Nic Anderson goes somewhere else and ends up missing 6 or 8 games next year, a lot of people are going to go, well, damn, yeah.
Listen, sometimes it just goes. I mean, when have you ever seen anything like this? As far as the injuries to that many guys at one time on that side of the ball, I mean, it just doesn't happen, right? It's just not. Look, I can't imagine that it would happen again. It sucks that it happened. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. I feel like this was a year that you probably have an opportunity that you should be at the very worst, you should be in the same place that South Carolina is, looking ahead at somebody that's going to get in there in front of you. By the way, South Carolina, you're still not a playoff team. Okay. Still not a playoff team. I'm going to say that one more time. You know, it has to matter what happens on the field. Okay. It has to matter. Shit. I'm still saying that. I've been saying it for like freaking week.
I'll just say this. It's, you know, I was always saying, you know, sure, the 12-team playoff, it's really, really neat because, you know, who's going to be number 12 really, really vying for the, you know, for the championship. Maybe I might have been wrong because I didn't expect an Alabama. I understand certain teams have issues with Alabama who beat them on the field and have the same record as them. Right. And they are in, and the other team's not, like Tennessee.
Isn't it funny? Isn't it weird when you say, you know, like South Carolina talking about, but they lost to Oklahoma and they lost to Vandy, and we beat both of them. Well, why does it matter that you won those games, but it doesn't matter that Alabama beat your ass head to head? You want those results on the field to matter, but not the ones where you went head to head. The transitive property never works, guys. It never works.
Yeah. Well, but at the same time, I mean, that's what I'm saying is Tennessee sitting out watching Alabama in, and Tennessee beat Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but I don't think.
Well,
I think hold on. I think the playoff is going to be phenomenal this year.
Yeah, Tennessee's in.
I'm talking in my Ole Miss. Sorry.
Yeah.
But this is the best possible situation for year one of the playoff because there's no dominant team. There's a lot of teams with major flaws, and there's a good chance that anybody, 7 through 1 can win it.
I agree. No, hey, listen, there's 4 teams that can't win. 4 teams. Yeah. If it stays currently like what Boise State didn't win.
Boise State's not winning. Arizona State's not winning it.
Arizona State's not winning. If Iowa State was to get in instead, they ain't winning either. But
ACC champ ain't gonna win it.
The ACC, no. And I'll tell you another one. Indiana ain't winning it.
No, hell no. No, you can't go out and only put up 14 against Ohio State, and who just lost to Michigan again. But I mean, like Ohio State gave up 40 to Oregon. It's going to be crazy, but I mean, I think Alabama, you can get them on a heater and they can do it, but they can also lose game 1.
They could. And I mean, that Texas is going to lose game 1 wherever they end up. I think Georgia could win it. They may not. I think the best 2 teams in the country are Notre Dame and Oregon right now. They're the best 2 teams in the country. Now, I love their physicality that they play with. And the reason that I like Oregon is not because of Dylan Gabriel so much. It's because of what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball. Mateo Uiagalelei is a fucking problem. A problem. Now, what does it look like when they get up against Georgia, though? I don't know.
Yeah, it's
what happens. We saw what they did against Ohio State. I think Ohio State's soft. Gets
up against Georgia playing good ball because I
lose game 1. This is what they do. It's just what
Georgia,
they do.
I don't think that Indiana can beat Georgia. I really don't think that they can.
No, they can't.
But if we're sitting here, after that game and Indiana won because Georgia couldn't do anything on offense, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, yeah, listen, I don't know. I think it depends on which Georgia you get, right?
Yeah.
I think it depends on which Georgia you get. But You guys are acting like it's a championship defense. They gave up a bunch of points to Georgia, though, that doesn't always score.
Yeah.
And at home. You guys, you don't have to love it. You don't have to love it.
This Texas is going to have to go through.
Texas ain't winning shit. Come on, folks.
Texas is going to have to go through Georgia, Notre Dame, Alabama, and I mean, if it does stick to be SMU, that would be the amount of money bet in the state of Texas on that damn game, Jason.
Yeah,
like I kid you not, that would be insane. Like those SMU guys, if they made it there, oh my gosh, that'd be crazy. But
you guys are saying that. You hate to say it all. Have you guys watched Notre Dame? Because what they do is what Texas doesn't do well against. They play physical, run over your ass football. They've got 2 unbelievable running backs. They've got a quarterback that can run and throw. They've got good receivers, and their defense will kick your ass. You can say what you want about their schedule. I'm not going to argue with you about their schedule. I watched them go and look. Think about this for a second. The people that think that Clemson's still good. That same 4-loss Louisville team that went in and beat the dog shit out of Clemson got boat raced by Notre Dame. Boat raced. And they beat the dog shit out of Clemson at Clemson. So I'm just telling you, watch and see. I'm not telling you that you should say it just from their damn who they played on the schedule. They lined up against a tough Texas A&M team, a really good defensive line, and they won the battle on the offensive line. They won it.
That was game 1 also, was it? Was game 1?
Game 1 for sure. And that game 2 that they lost, they had an injury. They had an injury to their quarterback. They should have probably taken him out. Coach talks about it a lot. And they hadn't really learned Denbrock's system yet. They've been
they hit their stride.
They haven't been tested since.
Yeah, they hit their stride. But I mean, I will say this, and
I could be wrong. Shit. I mean, it could be wrong. But
it's like that's why I say I do not. I mean, like I said, if it stays where it is right now, I do not think Penn State, Arizona State.
I don't like Penn State.
I don't think Indiana or Boise State can win it. I truly don't really believe in SMU either. But I mean, it's Texas gets a good lineup. They could do it. Just because Texas is just solid in a lot of different places. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that Alabama or Georgia are the same that they are most of the other years. And it's just they have just had these like zone out games to where it's like, guys.
I'm not sitting here telling you that I think any one of the SEC teams that are going in are the favorite for this thing. I'm not. I think the favorite has to be Oregon because they play both sides of the football. No doubt about it. They have to be.
Wouldn't it be crazy as hell if Arizona State from the Big 12 wins just won the first playoff? Like, I think every single conference would listen to trash talk from the Big 12, and we'd all just be like, "Man, whatever."
Lord, that ain't
like, no, it's not going to happen. But it's like they would be like, it would be like one of those one of those videos you see where like it's like a Chihuahua barking at a Rottweiler between a fence, and the fence opens and it stops talking. It's just like we wouldn't even notice it. Like you're still the Big 12.
Yeah, and I think that Tennessee can go deep, and the reason why is because of their defense. They are. Look, that defensive line, the depth on that defensive line, and I'm talking interior, is real deal.
Well,
you're not running the football on those guys. You're not running the football on those guys.
They have psychos in the secondary, and I think that they hurt a lot of people. Their secondary is like 3 Boganowskis. Like it's like they will just run and just crush you, just because it's. I mean, remember the hit on Javonte Barnes. I really do believe that that they are good. I don't see them being able to win it. I just feel like they They show their youth in certain times also. Oklahoma fans.
We got to be worried about SMU, do we? Oh, goody. Whatever, bro. Whatever. It's we're not worried about SMU, brother.
SMU is going to do what they're going to do, and that's just it. I think that the big
ACC teams, SMU needs to worry about BYU.
Now, I was going to say the SMU, them playing all on the East Coast, like that really helps Oklahoma, no matter how good SMU is, because you're going to have to basically go play out East for every single week, unless it's a home game. Yeah, Tennessee needs to get hot early in the game. If they don't start out strong, it typically doesn't go well.
It feels like they may need to try to test secondaries a little earlier at Tennessee sometimes. I think when they played pretty well against Alabama, it really, they ran the ball well against Alabama. And they ran in. One thing we know about Alabama, that's the way you can beat them is if you have a good run scheme with your quarterback that isn't scrambling. It's an actual scheme. Because we saw it from Diego Pavia. And then Nico kind of did it too, right?
Yeah.
So and look, they ran Jackson 28 times against us. So, again, I would tell you guys that Michael Hawkins probably should have been in that game, and it doesn't even ever worry you because there's more touchdowns earlier. But that's just me. Look, the deep runs are going to be, okay. In my opinion, teams with experience, lots of seniors and juniors will make the deep runs. Who are those guys? Who are you talking about? Because I think that there's some youth in certain places, but I think that the depth, as far as the older talent, Oregon still fits the bill there. You've got some experience at Notre Dame. It's not on the offensive line, but they're killing it on that offensive line.
They came together. They had to deal with us. They just didn't have guys that played together or played a lot of snaps. But I think team. Ohio State's got a decent amount of older guys. Tennessee on defense, most of those guys are older. Notre Dame, like you said. I don't know. This year's going to be. This year's just going to be.
See Penn State doing it because I don't think they're that good.
Because every one of those games were big games.
Every one of them, right? And they didn't know they played one this year. They lost it. I guess you could call the USC game a big game. It was an overtime game. They tried to lose it too.
Yeah,
they tried to lose it too.
It takes a lot for me to believe into a Penn State quarterback. I don't. It's no matter what the guy's name is, it's the same football player.
Yeah.
So it's just like Penn State. Maybe they're a little bit more tougher ball control version, but I see them kind of about the same as I see. Oh goodness. Completely just blacked out. Oh, Indiana. Indiana's a little bit more high flying, but I don't think they've got the athletes to hang in there for.
Yeah, Jimmy's and Joe's, and they got a little bump in their recruiting and stuff like that. And I like Kurt Signetti. I like what they're doing. I'm not trying to throw any shade at them, except for that I just don't think they're that good.
Yeah,
I just don't. You have to play somebody, man. They didn't play anybody. They didn't play any of the good teams in the Big Ten, except for the one. And they got smoked. It wasn't close. Wasn't close.
I think the Pittsburgh game, they kind of thought that was going to be a little bit more of a bigger game. It wasn't a terrible loss, but it's just none of those. The Big Ten, you got with Michigan being down how they were this year. Penn State's always right there. Penn State is the team that's going to make the playoffs every single. I like this question.
Should for a while, and I like this question too. Let's get back in. Let's talk a little bit about that because we could go all day about the damn playoff. We're gonna find out what's gonna happen this weekend, and we'll procrastinate or we'll prognosticate about it next week.
I might press.
What is your favorite prospect signed?
This is a terrible question for me because when Jay and I did this
other night, really good ones, right?
we talked about the whole damn team.
Holy shit! I love the team.
I mean, there's just different things. Like, I'll start with Jimmy's answer here. Elijah Thomas. I see Sterling Shepard faster. I mean, he's just
the alien ET.
He's a gamer. Torrey Blaylock. Blaylock is a guy who I made the comparison a couple nights ago. But I mean, he is speed is his ally. He knows how to use it. He's a one cut back. And once he gets out, he is looking to find the easiest way to get to open space. And so I'm completely excited about him. Darius is my daughter's favorite recruit because
I heard you talking about that last night. Yeah.
Yeah. Malik, I think Malik is another version of, I mean, he's going to be
Malik.
He's going to be like, I mean, he had some of the best camp outings, this past year.
Underrated, completely underrated, just like his brother.
Amongst, everybody. Let's see here. Owen Hollenbeck is like if you gave Hulk serum to Creed Humphrey, like Owen Hollenbeck, like he's a guy
wrestler with a shitty attitude. He just looks like he's pissed off all the time.
Oh, and here's the thing: is it's like if he can find a mean streak, I mean,
wait, he doesn't have that. It looks like he has it. It looks like he's like.
No, that's just because he's a freak. Like, if he could really be like, I'm going to hurt people, like he could become something dangerous. Like
Afalava, I like Darius Afalava a lot. And you know what Chris Mason said last night? He goes, he seems like he would block his grandmother to get into the end zone.
So obviously I had the interview with Darius, and we talked quite a bit, and I love this kid.
Yeah, and I loved what he said on the interview. He just kept talking about that it's nothing's given. He wanted to go have to earn it, and that was what it attracted him to it. It wasn't any promises being made.
Yeah, he just like
what we were saying.
Number one, he's got Jaden tweeted out the other day is like, got to keep this get this Polynesian pipeline going. Like he's going to come out and expect what you see out of Jackson. Like it's going to be the same thing. But I mean, Darius is a kid who, like, when he gets on the field, he just gets like the eye of the tiger and just wants to go out and just dominate people. And he's the type of guy who was it? Cody Ford. Cody Ford was a guy. Yeah, Cody Ford would be a guy who he didn't care. Ben Powers, Cody Ford, those guys would hear a whistle and they would side eye the official and give another shot. Just maybe it'll turn into something. To fight. He's a cerebral assassin. Yeah, I mean, Marcus James is another kid. Like I said, I just go through every single one of these guys. Obviously, like Foje and Fasusi and Sean Hutton.
Those are the guys that you had to get, man. I think that you needed to lock down. I loved it that it was. You guys were talking about this on your show last night, that the Fasusi thing, it was that he was signing. That was all that was. It was just it. Yeah, come on in. We're going to sign and we're going to eat, whatever, I love Ryan Foje. I think that, and Elijah Thomas, I said this last night, he's probably that guy that you're like, man, this guy could make a big impact immediately. Guys, I got to say, when you start looking at these receivers, there's a reason why it seems to me like the guys that didn't stay in the class, probably a reason why. The ones that were flipped. Are you sure that the two guys? I'm pretty sure that they wanted them to flip, right?
Harris. They need guys who can actually have an opportunity to come in and
play next year. Yeah, we were talking about last night on my show, because we're there with Chris Mason and stuff, and we kind of got back into that. Look, you got to make room for these guys if you're going to come in the portal as well. So if you don't want to have a bunch of guys that you're having to pay to sit on the bench next year, and you want to really go take a run at it, and then you've got to have some room. Elijah Thomas seems like the kind of guy, though, that might go in and play immediately and make a big. The guy is unreal good, man.
And also Manny Choice. That is a big frame.
Oh, brother, I like him too.
6'4", he'll be pushing 200 by the time we kick off for next year. Trent Wilson, the defensive tackle, like somebody said, and I can't remember. Yeah, that's what I brought up. But like they said, he looks like he's got a CDL already. Like looks like
that was Big Trap said it.
Oh yeah, it was Trap. It was Trap. Yeah, I gave Trap credit last
Shout out to Big Trap for that one. That was awesome. Looks like he already got a CDL.
Yeah, the two Archie safeties. I mean, guys, like what Brandon Hall has done in the safety room. Like we as Sooner fans have already forgotten of Justin Broyles, Pat Fields. Like we've already forgotten those days.
You're wondering when are these guys going to get on the field? Because you look at it, you still got RSJ coming back. You still got Peyton Bowen coming back. I kind of feel like we ought to maybe move if we're going to continue to have issues in the corner room or whatever. You might want to have Peyton move down and run corner with his brother. Well, because you got some guys that can do that. And I mean, we talked about it being kind of a positionless secondary, but I think that he's the guy that could probably go and be a corner as well. Other than that, you're loaded, though. Michael Boganowski and Powers and Rowe. I mean, they're there.
Hey, but I say this is I don't think that we're as bad because I think that if we had more corners, I don't think they would see the field for a few years anyway. Because you're going to have
Malik is going to be probably one of those sticky guys.
Malik's a guy too, but then also Cortland Guillory. Cortland Guillory is a guy that like he may turn out to be the best one on the defensive room. He is going to be that good. But you also have Devon Jordan, who was freshman this year from Union, and he kept on just finding himself onto the. Oh yeah, you're right. Sooners. Samia was another one. Samia was good for about a personal foul or a late hit or something that like he was good for about one a game. But yeah, the corners are you've got.
Bro, don't come in here trashing on Nic Anderson, guys. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy, Biff.
Don't do that.
Don't be
what's
that guy.
Who's the kid we switched over to wide receiver for half a week?
Jacoby Johnson.
Yeah, Jacoby Johnson. Jacoby Johnson's going to keep on, getting better.
I like Jacoby, and you guys know that I love me some Makari Vickers. I'm hoping that I'm hearing some health issues or something's going on, or I don't know what's going on, but I'm concerned.
He just seems he seems that it's one step forward, two steps back with his health. He. At one point, they were talking about him maybe starting last year. Yeah, he's going to be he's going to be somebody who needs to go and maybe get a reset too, if he wants to play again. But get yourself healthy, take care of yourself. But there's good guys. I'll say Omarion and Wimberly. Wimberly is a freak. He is, not only a great kid, but
really a lot too.
And so we also have this deal is like you saw on multiple occasions this year, we were running three safeties. Yeah. And, I think that with this safety room between the safeties and Cheetah, you have four of those guys out there. So I think it's okay to have these safeties because a guy like Marion Robinson, he can, hold up in coverage really well. Reggie Powers, third, hold up in coverage really well. Peyton Bowen, hold up in coverage very well. And that's what you need in the SEC. Now, you don't want to see Boganowski lined up against, a 5'10" slot receiver that runs a 4.3. That's not what you want to see unless he catches a short pass, and that's not what he wants to see. So
don't forget Sammy Baylor. Don't forget Sammy O.
Yeah, Sammy O is the cheetah. So I mean, it's and we also going to get Kendall Dobie back now.
Dobie. So yeah, I think they're good in they're good in the linebacker room. They're good at that.
Kanik at H-back. I've always liked that.
I like the Kanik at H-back idea. I like that idea. I'm not going to talk about Kanik. I get in trouble every time I do. I'm not doing it. Another guy we hadn't talked about, and we didn't really talk about him much last night, but and I know right now we're in love with X-Rob, and I'm still a big fan of Taylor Tatum. I think that he's an explosion waiting to happen. But guys, Torrey Blaylock is a problem for people. Yeah. Torrey Blaylock may be that explosion that is really waiting to happen as well. I think that you got to move Tatum into some other positions. I'd love to see him. He talked about playing slot a lot, out of the slot whenever. I'd love to see some of that. So, but I think you got to get Torrey Blaylock involved, get him the football, because that guy is a touchdown waiting to happen. You talk about speed. Holy shit.
He's like I said, I compared him to Joseph Randle, who was at Oklahoma State when played for the Cowboys and then decided to steal a bunch of stuff. He is just a one cut runner, and he's an absolute burner. And see, one cut speed. I mean, he is, right. And I think that he still has some capability to add productive weight and get a little bit stronger. And so. I'm excited. I'm excited about these almost every single one of these guys.
I think Tatum can move around. He's good out of the backfield catching the ball. That was one of the things he was the best at when he was at Longview.
You also, you got Tristan Haynes comes in at 6'2", 6'2" defensive back. Trinae Washington, who the guy could turn out to be a freak of nature as a pass rusher or a tight end. Like it's one of those Brian Urlacher type of, situations. It's like, hey, you're really good at which one. Like, I don't think that, maybe the Travis Hunter stuff lets you have some capabilities.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, fuck Brian Urlacher. I played against him in high school. Can't stand that fucker.
And so if you're looking in the chat and you're not familiar with my starter,
I don't give a shit. Sorry, go ahead.
If you're not familiar with my Star Destroyer package, this is a goal line formation where we have EPL line up as an extra tight end and take an end around, kind of like they do with the kid at Ole Miss, the defensive tackle from Ole Miss. But I mean, I just imagine him as a backfield tight end, looking, extra offensive lineman. All of a sudden, dude comes in motion and you're a 180-pound, 5'9", 5'11", hell, 6 foot tall defensive back, and he comes running at you.
Right. Biff, don't get kicked out of here for good. And you either, Yeezy, come on now. You guys behave yourselves. Don't be coming in here killing Nick Six. I'm not having it, man. No. Don't do it.
Am I not seeing these? I guess I'm not seeing these.
Oh, they're getting deleted now. That's because Stephen G, my mods are doing their job. My mods are doing their job. Been on there.
SDR, you're right. I want to see Tatum with a football in his hand. Like, remember the Titans? Dude, he's eating with it. He's sleeping with it. He is everywhere. Like, yeah, I want him to have like a different colored skin where that football is, like, when the season starts next year. I mean, he just has to do it. Phil Picciotti. Phil Picciotti needs to get healthy. He had another knee issue this year and he had another surgery. That's a guy who he could be. I mean, he was one of my favorite, recruits a couple of years ago. I helped him get a truck. With Fowler Motors down there. But I would like to see him play too, because I think he could be a thumper too.
Yeah. And obviously, guys, one of my favorites, of this whole class, we kind of talked a little bit about, I don't know if we talked about him tonight, but CJ Nixon, man, come on. This kid, he might end up being a hell of a basketball player too, for all we know. And I don't know that he definitely makes an immediate impact. He's not coming till the summer. But man, when you look at this kid and how twitchy he is, and just, the explosion, I love where they are with the edgemen, man. For the folks that, I hope some of the people that were talking all that silly shit about getting rid of Miguel Chavis last year, where's that energy at? Because that dude's killing it.
And I'll even say this. I don't think he's fully tapped in. Like, we all thought that R. Mason Thomas had something to him. I don't think he's a freak of nature, like, athlete. I think that, when he does go to the draft, he's probably going to be a 4th or 5th round guy. just because I don't think he's not Gabe says a mutant. He's not like 6'5", with a 6'8" wingspan or anything like that, or just like a lightning for step. But he has developed himself into a full, well-rounded player because he's going to be good. Ethan Downs. I mean, I think that Ethan's been the definition of the lunch pail worker. That guy has just been. He's just been so solid, and
love Ethan, man. So I mean, me and K Chris kind of had to make our amends for what we said after the first year of BV when we didn't think he was that good.
Listen, how many people
has tilted the last 2 years, man? Love that guy, and it's a testament to what happens when you work the way that some of these guys work for this staff.
Yeah, and I think it's we'd be remiss to say, PJ obviously has been battling through injuries all year long. We need to get that figured out. Like it's an ankle here, it's a
what is
knee sprain. Huh?
TJ Lewis is talking. You're talking Miguel Chavis should still be fired, or so you don't know ball is what you're telling us? You don't know shit about football? Cool.
I mean,
good call.
Or Mason is top 5 in the SEC in sacks. I mean,
that's just kind of a stupid saying,
third. Yeah, listen, I don't call PJ a bust yet, but he's definitely a disappointment to this point.
What is that? Oh, so this is so that's on him. The players got to do it. RMT's a monster.
Our RMT's had. I mean, this is the first year that he made it through healthy.
I'm not calling him a bust either. You watch it in here, TJ. Yeah, you don't know ball. That's clear. He was a redshirt freshman. Knucklehead.
He needs to find a way to take better care of his body. He hasn't been playing football for so long. So, I mean, maybe his body's still not fully getting used to it. But, I mean, yeah, I want to see more out of PJ this year. It's
sometimes it takes time, man.
You want to turn it in. We haven't really still yet. I mean, I'm looking for the first time that we can really go after one of these mutants defensive ends. I really want to see something like that. And I think that you got a couple guys who are starting to kind of develop to be something like that. So we'll see. I mean, there's got a lot of young guys who are going to be ready to take their opportunity this next year.
Yeah, fans are done with players after 2 years. It takes time. Yeah, fans that don't know shit about football are, sometimes
think about it. What does Okoye look like this next year? What does Nigel look like this next year? Taylor Wyme and Taylor Hine, what do those two guys look like this next year? I mean, because you started to see
them talk just to hear themselves fucking talk at this point.
You saw Taylor Wyme this year. He was in on, he got some good playing time. I mean, but 6'5", 250. That's bigger than Ethan Downs was, and he's.
So in other words,
dumbass.
Fucking get those guys out of here, guys. You guys know what you need to do. Get them out. Yeah, and look. Yeah, would you have kicked out Tavondre Sweat or Byron Murphy after 2 years? Look, there were 3-star guys, and that's probably this is it's always the guys that the people that do that stuff. It doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter who it is. They're gonna do it. It doesn't matter what it is. It's gonna be like that. Marcus Strong. Yeah. Look, these guys they're doing their job. The floor has been raised on that defense, folks. Period. I don't know how you could even. I mean, you can't know football if you think these things. You just can't. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
You spent too much time addressing that. It's like a homeless person saying, yeah, you spent too much time even addressing the Jack West.
Tell people they don't know ball when they don't know ball. So, I like to do that sometimes. This is me. I'm petty. What do you want me to say? I'm petty.
I am this year broke me. I have no more petty in me. I thought that year one was tough. Year one was better than this year.
Yeah, it was rough this year. Well, because you have the rest of the SEC talking their shit. The The Mizzou one kills me, man. The Mizzou one kills me. Fucking.
Yeah. I mean, Stevie, I'll we can probably wrap it up here before too long, but
yeah, we can.
Yeah, I think the defense is better next year. I said it at the beginning of the year. I said, what's crazy is this defense is going to be really, really good. The starters are the lesser talented ones between them and the backups, physically talented. And now you're going to see more of this. It's going to be the Kip, Kobe, and Carter show now going forward. Canik's still here. I don't think that I would put my money on him surpassing any of those guys, but you're going to see some more really, really good football from the linebackers. The defensive line's only, I think, going to get better. I still think that you need probably a good rotational D tackle and, maybe bring in an edge guy, in the portal. Defensive backs, I think that, overall that's going to be a little bit, I think you're going to miss leadership in those things. I think Kip and Kobe are good leaders. But I really do think, maybe RSJ takes a bigger role in leadership. But say this defense has a really, really good outlook. If somehow the football gods reward us for what they did to us this year and Gentry can come back, it takes the defense to a different level.
Yeah, I think they were going to be better as well. Jason, a fan, I'm sorry.
Stay and come back.
I'm sorry if that bothers you, bro. It isn't church. This isn't a church session, but I still love God.
Oh, did I cuss?
I cuss all the time. That's my fault.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's me. Sorry.
It's okay.
Not that sorry. That's how I roll. I can't help it.
My son, fun story for the class here. I think RSJ is coming back, Mr. John. Just FYI. If I'm wrong, you can come after me. If I'm right, you can, I don't know, give me an air high five. But it got a 7-point on Friday this past week. Mm-hmm. And the past couple of years, I've seen deer early, and I thought I'm going to wait for the trophy. I'm not going to mess with them. Worst case scenario, I'll get something before I leave. And and so 7-point comes out almost too close. So I had to I had to no scope him because he was only about 20 yards away, but just didn't get a shot until there. Shot him through the spine. He collapsed immediately. Didn't have to track him down. Anyway, long story short, my son, I come back.
Well done.
Yeah, my son comes back, and he says, "Daddy, did you kill a deer?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh," he's like, "So you pick it up and you just where is he?" And I was like, "Well, he's at the processor." He's like, "What does that mean?" It's like the people who cut it up for the deer steaks and the sausage and stuff. And he's like, "Oh," he's like, "How do you kill it?" And I was going through the process with him, and he was like, "Do you have to cut his pee-pee off?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" and I was like, "Excuse me?" And I was like, of course you do. But I didn't want to
actually. Yeah. And you got to get that pee sack out of there before it gets really fucked.
The test tackles. But anyway, and I said, "Why did you ask that?" I said, "Why did you ask that?" And he goes, "Mommy said that you had to cut open from his butthole to his throat." And I was just listening to my son say this, and this goes towards the cussing piece, but listen to my son say this, and he says to me, he goes, "I bet that's some shit." And I was like, "What? What did you just say?" And of course, autistic child, but just the conversations.
Sound like it came from his mother, though, not you. So,
no, she's
I love it. I love it.
I asked him. I said, "Do you want to go next time?" Of course, 6-year-old, autistic kid. I don't think that the tree stand's the best place for him this point in his life. But he's like, I was like, "Do you want to come see?" And so I think I'm gonna try to take him to deer, out to the land and go sit up in the stands, for dusk and maybe let him see some deer run out. But I don't know if we try to play the quiet game at home, coming back from dinner sometimes, and he makes about 1.6 seconds. And so I'm I'm pessimistic that he's ever going to see a deer.
How about Kanik playing the mic, Sabur Rashid? Well, I hope if he's learned it, maybe, but I don't see it really. This is he didn't really get a whole lot of playing time. That he hadn't really been on the field much.
Yeah,
because he's such a great athlete that I think that he could. But it almost feels like you should use that athleticism somewhere. If he's not going to go into the portal, he wants to be here. Let's find a spot for him to play, because if he's not good enough to be on the field, which if he's not playing full speed, who cares if he runs a 4.4?
Yeah, he's I will say this: Jaron is on the punt teams. Jaron is the leader of that whole crew. So I mean, he does that, and
that's important. I don't know what the fuck just happened there.
You can just like raise your hand. You don't have to like cut me off in the middle of a sentence if you want me to stop talking.
I mean, I'll kick your ass out if I want to, but that's not what I'm doing.
That's okay.
Sorry.
I'll go to bed.
It's really not what I was doing. I promise.
No, it's okay. Here's the thing: is Kanik is physically talented. He's not the greatest football player. He's just not the greatest football player. And Kip and Kobe and
a lot of football IQ stuff going on, right?
He wasn't a linebacker in high school,
and that's
you gotta remember that.
Yeah.
And Brent Venables linebackers are tasked a lot, harsher than most defensive schemes. So you've got is this a collab? I am on a different one. This is Jason.
Yeah, but he's always on our show. He's been on with us a bunch.
I've been on here at least twice.
Yeah, maybe twice. Maybe
it just feels like a bunch because we've done like 4-hour shows at times, and
you've been on the show a lot. You're one of my favorite guests. One of my favorite
ask. Well, I appreciate that. I want to ask for you sickos in the chat and everything. When we're doing 4-hour shows, do you just leave us on your TV and just wake up in the morning and we're still here? Or hey, how do you even deal with us for more than 2 hours?
Sheesh, right?
Or 2 minutes.
It's pretty wild. And a lot of there's been times in the morning show lately, I'll go almost 4 hours. I'm like, I don't even, and you don't really realize you're doing it. Big Mike will be on with me. I've had Mike Boganowski Sr. He comes on Mondays along. And so we usually get, we've been getting a lot of Marcus Dent too. Love Marcus Dent. He talks some shit. As much as Sooner Cowboys is such a drag all the time, right? And he was talking smack on the O-line and
Eeyore.
Yeah, he kind of is Eeyore. I love it. That's exactly
he's Eeyore.
He is Eeyore. Dent was killing him last week. This guy's stupid. I was just like, oh. I was like, oh no.
One receiver's leaving, probably won't be able to field a team.
Pretty much, yeah. Show working is great.
Legend.
Don't work. Thank you, Zofix. Appreciate you, bud.
Legend. I love coming on your show.
We do,
but I certain times, I've gone on there, early in the day or early in the morning. I do this one because I don't have to be working right now. Legend called me and he'd be like, what are you doing in 20 minutes? And I'm like, well, that would be 2:30 in the middle of the day. I just working, and sometimes I can get away, but end of the year is crazy, Legend. I love you, man. And I do. I got a buddy who always is like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, well, it's 9:45 p.m. I was thinking about going to bed. And he's like, do you want to go play darts? And I'm like, no, man, I want to go to bed. I got to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we've had Barry and D-Mac. Barry's been on a few times. D-Mac, I've had him on once with us. It was a lot of fun, man. I like that. Barry and Mac have a great show, by the way. Shout out to Barry and Mac. Love the show. Enjoy listening to what they, it's a little different. You're gonna get reality from or at least from the mind of D-Mac, what he thinks is real. You're gonna hear it. There's no cutting corners for him, and I love that part about it.
He's never had a filter. Never.
No. And I remember that's when I was at OU was in 99, 2000. So and into 2001. So I remember that it was fun. These guys were fun. I love D-Mac. He's my guy. And Barry's a trip too, man. He he doesn't care. He likes to you know what I like about Barry? He likes to get D-Mac lathered up a little bit. He knows what he's gonna say that's gonna piss D-Mac off or get him. No, fuck that, Barry.
He reminds me of, and yes, forgive me. He reminds me of what Al tries to do to Jim on the radio at times, where he just starts jacking around just to see if he can get him riled up, and it's pretty funny. But
yeah,
D-Mac, them, they are kind of tied in with rivals and Parker and everything now, so it's a little bit harder to do collabs that way.
Yeah, they don't do it as much. They're not able to do it as much. So
yeah. Doom and Groomers on. Oh yeah, it's the two guys that look like cavemans. The Geico cavemen on Sooner Surge. Is that who you're talking about?
Is that who they are? Doom and Groomers? Is it the Sooner?
Oh, bro. Let's change topics already. I don't. It's
yeah.
I'm say 15% on your auto insurance.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that's.
Oh man, if you've never gone into those shows.
No, I have, you get yelled at and shit. I mean, he yells.
Oh no, listen. Sooner Cowboys is the standout in that one. Like he's above the rest. Like they're all like him on steroids.
Way worse. I mean, if Sooner Cowboys was like some of the guys that are in the Sooner Search show, I promise you they wouldn't be here. He wouldn't be here ever. I would completely block him. Two guys named Eric and Gray God. I know who you're talking about. I do know who you're talking about. That they go in there. Marcus Dent. Where's he at?
Is that
Gridiron? There he is. My man. Appreciate having him on always. He's on his way to he's on his way right now. They're going to move into Isaiah's new pad. They're working getting him into his new pad. Hey man, thank you.
Coach, I just understand you seem like you're showing everybody else love, but I haven't heard from you in a minute. So show your boy some love.
Oh,
calling you out, Coach.
Oh, he's calling you out. Okay. Fruit getting a medical. Yeah, I think he's got to, right? There's no way they won't give it to him. They're about to give. They're about to give them. Aren't they about to give Bowman?
No, that was fake. That was fake. That was absolute fake.
Hey man,
Lori, if that's your Sooner Surge, I question your taste.
Let's talk. We're not talking bad about them. We can say whatever the hell we want, Lori. You don't.
I think they're dog shit. Listen. Nobody. If I said this is a bottle, it is what it is. Don't get mad at me.
I don't care. You can say whatever you want. I think Farouk is coming back because he wants to. I don't know that he's gonna get drafted at this point, right? I mean, he might. It'd be late, but he more than likely be a. I don't know. I don't know. I think Farouk needs to come back for leadership purposes more than anything for us. I think if we're being real about it, I think you can make some money here. There's no reason why you shouldn't go.
No, it's. I mean,
Laura
listen.
Weiss.
Is he? Does he come back and play that like Woody Washington role, to like he's there when you need him type of a thing? I'd like that. That would probably be the best case scenario.
That. I think he's a better player than that, don't you?
No, I do.
Because I mean, you've been killing Woody a little bit, so I don't know what you're saying.
I've been killing Woody, not as bad as the receivers that he's up against. But I digress. I would love to see Jalil come back.
That was me.
My hope is that you would have people that are outperforming him, but he's just that rock solid. Like, what's the kid who was it Kyler's roommate? Lee Morris. Like that's a role I'd like to see for Farouk, like a Lee Morris type of role, to where he's like just a good third down touchdown guy. I'd love to see that. Because I always thought that Farouk was a little bit more along the lines of like a poor man's Deebo Samuel, like a little bit, less beefy, less athletic, but when he was running 2 years ago with those jet sweeps and everything, and running the ball and line up in the backfield, and I think that I'd like to see that, but I'd like to see 3 other guys do a lot better than him. So
here's the thing, I don't know. And guess what? There's a lot of receivers out there right now that are available. I think you guys have brought some of them up. Concepcion from NC State. I would love for them to go take a shot at him. This is a guy that has been a big time contributor already. I have, Laura Weiss is in here. She's a Texas Tech girl. She's not going to like this, but I mean, he's not going to be there anyway. So, look, I think that Micah Hudson, he looks like the part. He looks the part. He didn't really.
For my Spanish speakers, un poco fuma. Like there's a little smoke there. So guys, pay attention to that.
Yeah, I think that I'd like to see that. But I want to. But again, you want to see it, particularly if they are portal guys. Yes, you probably want them to contribute immediately.
Yeah, Neilio, that's who we're talking about, Neilio.
Yeah, man, he's a stud, dude. Conception, yeah, dude's a baller. He entered the portal, so I think there's some opportunities out there, and there's going to be more guys. The portal hadn't even really opened, so we're hearing about these guys. It hadn't even really opened. So, look, as far as I hate to see Nick, go. I really do, but I would say, it just next man up, man. That's the nature of this game. And what I saw, that we can kind of end it on. Well, no, I want to end it on something else, but I will say this: we can end this conversation part on this part. You saw the letter from Josie talking about what this is becoming, and it's not a joke. This is you got to have an NFL style front office, all that stuff. I think it's really kind of moving to. It's getting to the point now where you're going to have. Norman, you can't be in my lap. Where you're gonna 150-pound lap dog. I'm telling you here. Look at this. Damn dog. But we're talking about assist. I even kind of feel like it's probably going to be. You're going to see this breakaway from the NCAA and the way that they're doing things. It's just because it is what it is. Now that you're going into full-on revenue share, along with the money. It just kind of is what it is. So I would say that who said this? 6'4", Texas Tech. Hudson would come in and not know the plays. Well, that's not cool. I don't know, man. Talent-wise, I'll tell you what, he won't come into the game if he doesn't know the playbook. EJ wouldn't put up with that. We know that,
and I'll say this: yeah. EJ will have probably the easiest communication between Texas Tech and them, because now that we're not in the conference, those people will tell EJ if that's the truth, and we won't pursue. Right. It is kind of crazy. He was
and EJ was a big reason why he ended up going to Tech, right? I mean, he was the one that was recruiting.
Which is why I said un poco fumar.
I get it. Yeah.
There's but I also say this is he was up there with the Jeremiah Smiths and Ryan Williams as far as like expectations for like immediate production. And he didn't really have much. And so like
he had 8 catches, man.
At Texas Tech. At Texas Tech.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Some of those kids do that in a half. So that's
no risk of losing. Are we talking Jaden Jackson? No, they'll lock him in a closet somewhere before they let him go anywhere. No way.
Is there risk of losing him? Yes. Is he going to leave? No. There's just too much here. And
if it's about money, no, there's not. If it's about money, there won't be a risk of losing him. No, he earned whatever he gets. He's not going.
He started getting calls. He started getting calls after the Tennessee game, and. Yep. And so this ain't new. Like, people have been tampering with him for a while. But his best friend who he had a dream of coming and playing with is David Stone.
Not having it.
He ain't going anywhere. And guess what?
Yeah.
His family loves Oklahoma and loves the Oklahoma fan base too.
And we love him. We love him.
And listen, that family rolls like 11, 12 deep when they come to games. And so like, don't get it twisted. Like, they're happy about the Polynesian pipeline with Apalava coming in. They're working on some other kids too.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So I mean, like but he could be one of the best defensive tackles in the country, and he's a freshman. Of course, if people aren't coming after him, somebody cast a spell or something.
I know you weren't trying to trash him. 6'4", we're good. He said not trying to trash the kid, just letting fans know when players are not playing, there's a reason. And
no, and
sometimes things like that happen, right? Sometimes things like that happen, and maybe it's just not a great fit. Here's the thing: I think that they did so much to get him there, right? They did. I mean, they dumped a big fat ass bag of cash on him. His dad is a former Tech guy. They made him feel really loved. And so I think sometimes you can get a little big headed about it. Maybe that's I don't know. I know that he's got a lot of damn talent. And so if you're not getting on the field, and he wouldn't get on the field with EJ if he doesn't know the damn playbook. Believe that. We keep wondering why in the hell we didn't see anything from Jaquez Petaway.
Listen,
I don't know what's going on there. I could just tell you that. Go ahead.
Jaquez Petaway was having a hard time with a lot of stuff, and
I think he was too.
Yeah. Again, Petaway was the one that I really, really wanted to bang. I
wanted him to kill it too, man. Like that.
I wanted him to crush. But like he is, you saw it. There was early in the season, there was a jet sweep that was designed to go a certain way. He went the exact opposite, and yeah, TJ Lindsey too. Yeah, hell yes.
Bro,
there's a lot of dudes in the portal already. Don't forget, there's a bunch of them that were also in the portal, mid-season.
Yeah. Yeah, look, that's
Bill
Bedenbow is furniture moving company is now open for business. Correct. Folks, I don't think that you can overstate how much different it looked. One thing I do want to say about, I know we've killed Joe John. Killed him. Everybody's killed him for the last, the whole year. I will say that what they did over the last month, it was more competitive, and they, at least it was coherent, even though it didn't really work out. But seeing what you saw out of Bill Bedenbow and Joe John and those guys, I mean, and now Big Bill goes and gets his greatest class of all time. I mean, nothing but you got to give them some props. It's going to take some time to get them where they want to be. I think that all you have to do is go out there. I like this offense. The more I watch, the more film I watch, the more I really like what we're getting out of this guy. I think we're going to get a guy that is, and you've heard him say it, he's not married to anything, not married to any system. If you'll go and get in a jumbo package and get under center with your quarterback, I like it. I like it, especially down on the goal line. That's good stuff. Right?
Yeah, listen, I was going to look back through my tweets, but I'm pretty sure I said this in June, and I don't want to go back through that many tweets, but I said there's a good chance he wins the, recruiter of the year.
Yeah, you were saying it.
I think that's still on the table.
Yeah.
And so no matter what diabetic Charles Xavier says down there at Texas fanboy, like it's going to be, it's laughable that your flex was, but he's never developed a 5-star. Listen, Flood didn't develop. Banks either stayed the same or got or regressed minorly.
Come on,
like all you have to do with a 5-star with great expectations, like a guy like Kelvin Banks or Fasusi, is just don't screw him up.
Well,
just don't screw him up.
But I'll say this: who cares if you've developed? If you haven't developed a 5-star, what are we even talking about? I mean,
there was a point earlier in the season. I think that our boy Jake,
so many people that have been trying to boot him out the door. I'm thinking, you know what? I look at this. I think about left tackle, young kid. They were killing it.
Who?
Oklahoma, our left tackle. That It came in at the end after Sexton.
Howland.
Yeah, Howland. Look at what Gabe was saying about him after that. After he came in the Ole Miss game, he was like, "You can't play him if he's going to step backwards." They locked up that shit down on that side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. John and Kevin Jones. Yeah.
Oh, Benji's getting all butt. Are you getting butt hurt, Benji? Oh no. Get shit on catch, but saying flood didn't help with Banks' development. That's certainly a reach.
But Benji, like, I'm not saying killing Banks.
That there wasn't a ton that you had to do, is what he was saying.
I'm just saying that, like, listen, and I'll full out say, like,
Banks is a bad dude, and you know that. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it to you, Coop. I'm saying Benji.
No, Anton Harrison. So that's another thing is catch goes out and he blathers away. Anton Harrison was a guy that we recruited and he played as a freshman, sophomore, junior, and left to the NFL. Anton Harrison is a guy
by the way, first rounder.
Yeah, he never he got better every single year. And I don't think that I've seen that out of Banks. I mean, I haven't in the time. And now is he worthy of being a first round draft pick? Yeah, I still believe he is.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's going to be. I'm just saying that, like, it's with a Fasusi, you're just like, don't what did you say?
I was just saying hi to Kim. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, it is. This is not an argument that either of us are going to change our mind, so we can just.
And in the end, here's the deal. All I'm going to say is this: hey, Big Bill did his thing. I'm excited about it. I know this. Talking to Marcus Denton as much as we do, and he made a great point here. Was that look, Joe John and Kevin Johns didn't have that team from all the way from back in the spring to where they could do all that. They had to do that as the season was going in the last month, and it did turn things down. Look, it is what it is. I think they're going to be fine. I love it. I'm excited about the future. I really look, man, I said Arbuckle wasn't my third choice probably, but I'm liking what I see more and more. I'm excited about where they're going to be because I don't think they have to be top 10. I think they have to be top 40-ish.
Yeah, they do.
I think they have to be top 40-ish. That's it.
I think that the reset is just necessary,
Sure.
just with everything. And I think that part of that reset Jackson Arnold needed to leave. And I think that it was going to be hard to reset with so many of the same elements. Am I happy that Jackson left? No, I'm not happy that he left, but I just think that the reset's going to be good. It can't be worse. So I mean, but a lot of it had to do with health. But we knew that this offensive line was going to be an issue going into the year. And then we heard that maybe it wasn't going to be that much of an issue. Well, then guys start going down every other play. Well, then now you've got a brand new quarterback, brand new offensive coordinator, brand new set of offensive linemen who've never played before and are 18 years old. Then all your receivers go down, and it's like there was no path to success on this team. But I don't think that's what I was looking for. I think what I was looking for is improvement week to week, and that's what we didn't see for a lot of the time. And a lot of the time, that was on the offensive line. A lot of the time, that was on the quarterback. A lot of the time, it was on the play calling. There was a lot of blame to go around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tanya Shipman, thank you for the super sticker, the bowing dog. Love it. Looking in through here, we've had about 1,000 people that have been in here. We've got 66 likes, not quite 100. It'd be cool if we got to 75 if we could get to 75 in the next 2 minutes while we talk about this last thing, then I'll give away a t-shirt. All right, get us to 75. Hit the like button. Coop.
Yo.
I thought it was kind of weird that Oklahoma State decided to announce firing both coordinators on National Signing Day. Bold strategy.
Like,
Why?
there's not. I mean, there's not even a take. Like, there's not even an Oklahoma State fan right now that is like, nope, I think it was the right thing to do. Like, I think everybody's just like, man, F everything about this.
Does it feel like he's trying to just completely torpedo it because they know he was about to be gone too? Do you think that's what's happening?
I will say this. No, I don't think he's trying to torpedo it. Chicken, I love you, but it's that once you go rub your testicles and warm yourself up. But like, it just there was a rumor that Oklahoma State was interested in Brendan Marion. And though I don't think that's a situation, because I think he's got a head coaching opportunity probably he could take instead. But man, it just like, I don't know. Like, I mean, again, how the hell does he have a job?
I don't know.
I just don't understand.
Something. That's it. I don't think that they're firing Gundy either, eyes on Texas, but I'm going to tell you something. We're hearing things that we haven't heard in a while out of there, that there's people that are on this Board of Regents right now. They're only having another meeting because of the first meeting they had, where apparently it came up.
Yeah. Here's the thing. What makes it 10 times worse is OU and Texas left.
Mm-hmm. And you go, everything. There's no way that's okay there. No way.
And it's not like they went 0-9 with their top 6 wide receivers injured and
20-25
offensive linemen. Like, it was bad. I mean, then OU and Texas leaving, everything's set up for you. You return you return all your offensive linemen, and it just seems like, I mean, it almost seems like they were really, really depending on Mike Gundy to go to a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, what if I go the opposite way? And we're like, well, let's start off with a little, I don't know, mishandling Ollie Gordon's drunk driving incident. And then I'm going to call my fans poor. And it's like,
poor losers. Poor losers. Yeah.
And I don't understand how
it's in poor ass losers.
I just don't understand. Like, you can like be sad that your team is on the struggle bus and just, but like, that may be the worst situation to sit in. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about Oklahoma State's money issues. Like, I don't know. Like, do they have money to pay?
So first off, and while we're on Oklahoma State, I do want to say this, and heart goes out to the family of our boy Greg Swain. He passed the other day. Just hadn't really thought about it, but I like Greg. I used to be around him quite a bit whenever I was covering Texas Tech. He was a little wild, but it was fun being around him. But he was talking about last year that they had just cashed another $250 million check from T-Boone. And it was all for the athletic department. We're not just talking about that it was like, money that's for this or this or this, that T-Boone was for the programs. So yeah, headbutting old Bessie. Yeah, no shit. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on, but in the end, that he wouldn't be putting up with it. I'm telling you guys, there's a certain level that it's been smoke and mirrors. I've been telling you that, and I think it was you, Coop. I think you and Jay both picked them to win the Big 12.
I said they were a dark horse to win the Big 12.
Are you sure about that? Because we're gonna have to go back and pull some damn tape. But I'm gonna say this:
you can pull it.
I tell you, I said they weren't. I said they weren't. So I'm gonna just say it. But I'll say this, guys: there's no way that you can justify this. He's won literally out of conference, non-conference games that aren't bowl games that nobody gives a shit about. He's won 3 against winning programs. Power 5 programs with a winning record 3 times in 20 years he's won. They had 8 and 7 wins. Against 10-win teams in the Big 12, 14 and 34. Oh, wait. He had how many 10-win teams did he play this year? Let's see. Would have been not just maybe one. So yeah, 14-35.
It's what I call the stat stuffer. And Neilio, you'll love this.
Kim, thank you, buddy.
Neilio, this is directly for you, Neilio. As a baseball fan, as a Cardinals fan, there was a guy named John Jay that played for the Cardinals.
Yep.
And it seemed like almost every single year he had close to a 300 batting average, 18 to 25 home runs. But it seemed like every single time he did anything, it really didn't matter. But when it was bottom of the eighth, you're down by 3 bases or juiced, 1 out, you check swing into a double play. And every single but if they were up 12-5, he'd hit a grand slam. Or if they were up 7-0, he'd hit a triple or go for the cycle. But anytime the game was in jeopardy,
brought him up. Incredible timing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I think about Mike Gundy is and yeah, they beat us the last 2 years or 2 of the last 3 years. Is what it is.
Though we know what happened in that damn game. You can say that it shouldn't have been a game. They still screwed them out of it.
Well, Jason, wait a second. Did you know that Oklahoma had the most penalties in the Big 12 last year and the least penalties in the SEC this year?
Shocker. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I almost feel like I should stick my nose just for you.
You should. Why not?
You are committed. You've never been this committed, even the first time. But
you've got a dirty, whorish mouth. That's what you have.
That was you. That was right when I touched my earpiece that happened. And
dirty, whorish mouth. Chicken.
So,
chicken.
Man, I just don't you want better? I remember sitting on here talking to USC fans months ago and be like, you deserve better. Now that worm has turned. If Trojan's still in here, let us know. But you're starting to see Ari Wasserman and all these other guys come out and be like, hey, Oklahoma fans,
we were right.
Sorry for ripping you. You were right. Mm-hmm. And now we've got no USC is where I want to be. And I can promise you I'm not going to be the head coach at XYZ University.
Yeah.
It's happening again, and now it's with the UCF and or USF or whatever. But I just, man, it's just you got to want better. You got to want better. I'm sorry.
I don't know why. And then that's what I'm saying is you'll hear people within the fan base every time they bring it up. There's so many of them that are like, he's the best coach we've ever had. We'll never get a coach like him. This is a world that GJ Kinney lives in.
Yeah.
This is a world that Robert Traylor lives in. And is
bring Brennan Marion in. I promise you that fan base will be excited immediately.
Brother, you're not. It just is what it is. I'm just saying there's no 2 ways around it. These guys would get it done in another way. But this is Okie Light at its best. This is what Okie Light is.
I've got a great head coach for Oklahoma State after they canned Gundy. Bill Belichick.
Whoa.
He's interviewing for the North Carolina job. I don't know if you saw that.
Right, I heard about that. He's an NFL only guy. I don't see it. He's getting all kinds of shit.
Yeah. But seriously, there's plenty of people that you could go out and see. Yeah, I think that, Marion to Tulsa, I don't know if that's I think now Tulsa, there's a good chance. I mean, this is not inside information or anything. In this day and age of football.
TMI, chicken, TMI.
Chicken, did you finish a whole bag or a whole case? Because you seem to be altered tonight. But no, I mean, there's a real world where Tulsa may not have a football program for too much longer. They can't compete on the NIL front. No coach is going to want to go there because you're not playing anywhere. trailer to Stillwater. How about Eric Bieniemy? He's available now. Send him to Stillwater.
Yeah, I don't think that would help. But
Kevin Wilson for OSU. What about Cale Gundy? With
I don't know. I don't even want to go there. I'm not a. that ain't my thing. That ain't my thing. Yeah, I don't know. Guys, I'm telling you, GJ Kinney. This is a world that GJ Kinney lives in, and then you know what? Will Stein. You don't try to go make this happen. This is a head coaching job. I would really be pissed if Will Stein ended up there. But
Will Stein, that I would be too.
I would not.
I know
not like that. But I would say this. Listen, if you literally have an Brian Hartline, there's guys that would take the job. And that are 1,000 times better than Mike Gundy, mediocre Mike Gundy, who's not even pulling off mediocre now.
Shanahan, I mean, listen, he has never made recruiting a priority. Now it's 10 times worse, and now he's fighting every single bit about it. He alienates his players. He consistently has issues relating to, non-Caucasian kids. He is just, I mean, it's just like, the cute, funny, goofy shit that he said all the time. When you're winning, that's okay. But when you're 0-9 in conference, people are over it. They're tired of it. They, because it's not, now with this situation with the quarterback this year, people are freaking bringing Brandon Whedon starting at quarterback 3, the year that they were really good. Like they're bringing that kind of crap back up. Like it's this team's not going anywhere, and it's not going anywhere quickly.
Fast. Look, if you couldn't already tell he was mailing it in when he hired Brian Nardo to begin with. I mean, the dude was a D3 guy. Nobody knew who he was. Well, you really think that he's smarter than everybody that much? Come on, folks. Let's be real. That's not what this was. And I know Cody Light loves Brian Nardo. I think he's a good dude. I think he was in way the hell over his head.
Yeah. Listen, I feel like I can take a punch and I feel like I can give a punch, but I'm not going to go stand in the ring with Mike Tyson. There's just some places that you may know what to do, but you don't belong there.
You're in the deep water, buddy. And he didn't belong. And, and they were talking about him being head coach in waiting after that bullshit from the 2 years ago. I don't know.
You could bring Jim Knowles back as a coach.
That tells you right there. He was mailing it in. Then you know what? Jim Knowles was ready to stay if he got the raise. He was ready to stay. You know what? Gundy didn't give him the raise. He gave himself the raise.
Yeah, and then he bitches about recruiting budget. I'm promising you, whatever he makes is $8-9 million now. Like you could probably
almost $9 million. Yep.
You could probably make a quarter of that and never want living in Stillwater. But again, it's just goofy thing. It was cute. It's like a toddler, who does something silly and you laugh at it, and then he just keeps on doing it, and eventually, like, all right, shut it off.
Like he actually thinks that everybody respects what I'm a man. I'm 40. That stuff with listen. I'll say that again. What him going at her like that, it wasn't because she was going after one of his players. She was going after him.
She was questioning his decision making and having Bobby Reed on the field. Yeah. I mean, I just don't. It's almost like this is just something that he does still. It's just that's it.
I hope not, but yes, Neilio, absolutely. Zach Alley, would he be a good candidate? I don't know that he would be allowed to take that job. I think Venables would tell him hell to the no. But yes, look, I think that GJ Kinney would be there in a heartbeat. They just gave him a big extension. It's $2 million, folks. $2 million a year.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
I mean, it's kind of like what I said with this.
Bring your whole crew with you because the whole damn. They can get rid of the entire staff at this point.
Well, the offense, and like I said, with Arbuckle coming here,
Or Jenny.
you don't
Jimmy
need
says.
you don't need
that was bullshit. Don't love
you don't need somebody to come in and be Nick Saban at Oklahoma State. You just need someone to come in and care and actually give a damn on recruiting.
Recruit and go after it. And because you know what? He came in there, and the worst part about it is calling out the fans like that. When you go in there and do that, when you're losing and you turn on them, and how long, you know, Sam said this. You've asked them, there was a mandate on Oklahoma State fans to fill that joint up and support us and all this stuff. And now it's our fault that you suck. Come on. Because misguided as they may be, they do love those pokes.
It's
misguided as they may be. Yeah.
Oklahoma State fans damn near a cult. I mean, it's not it's not A&M, but it's
poor bastards.
And I hate the color orange. Like, but like when I see orange and black, I hate that more than I hate burnt orange. It's just because it's at least Texas is a blue blood program, whereas Oklahoma State. But I will say this is like, could Oklahoma State go get anybody in the country 10 years ago? No, I don't think so. But I think what Mike Gundy has done, he has elevated the nostalgia of that program. Now they can go.
Well, there's a lot. All those smoke and mirrors have made people think that it's something there. You know what I mean? They've won this game and that game, and not.
It's like Penn State. It's a lesser version of Penn State.
A lesser version for sure. But yeah, Stillwater it is what it is. But look. I just had to kind of poke at him a little bit before we left.
Yeah. Jen and James, I appreciate this. Yeah, I think this is a good hire for Utah too.
It is a good hire.
Really like that.
Bronco Mendenhall is actually doing the thing, and I hate the Lobos, by the way, but Bronco Mendenhall is doing a good job there.
Man, there's
a tough ass place to win. I'll tell you that.
Hey, let Mac Brown come back and coach Okie Light.
Yeah. He probably, I don't know that he would at this point, but
he doesn't like recruiting, but anything he does is a little bit better than what Gundy's been doing.
Thanks.
It's like OSU almost put out like a really nice website with a form fill that if you were interested in coming to Oklahoma State and playing football, just come on and fill out this. We don't do recruiting, but if you're interested, let us know.
Noise out of Manhattan sounds like Matt Wells might take over as our play caller in 2025. Why was he not calling plays this year?
Who was the Nilo?
I was under the impression that he was. I don't think I ever knew that. And Neilio, I didn't hear about this like last week that they were going to maybe have him call the plays last week, and I was like, was he not? Weird.
Nilio, I want to hear what you have to say about. I think that Brian Lepak has been one of the people kind of tied to maybe come in and coach here as the tight ends coach. And I just continue to hear smoke about that. So let me know if you've heard anything about that on that side.
Okie Light is the trailer park soap opera of universities. Okay. Fair. Burning that candle both ends. I like it. Stink ass cap, my man. Love Matt Wells. I'm a fan of Matt Wells too. I don't know if Laura Weiss is still in here, but she could tell you that there was something up there, and I don't really know what it was. And she knows her stuff about tech on the inside of it. So I don't know what happened there. They were winning, but something happened between him and Kirby Hockett. I'll just put it that way. They did not. We got pretty toxic pretty quick.
Yeah. UCLA going after Sinceri, the quarterback coach. I don't think UCLA has the pull to. I think that he's a good guy, and I think he's going to be a great coach. I don't know if OC job for him yet at this point.
Is our boy leaving there or what as the OC?
Bieniemy? Yeah, he got fired yesterday or earlier today.
Oh wow! So he waited and waited and waited on an OC job, and he's been back-to-back 1-year rentals. Yikes. Yikes.
Um,
Yeah, Matt Slade is his new offensive coordinator. Houston is okay. Yeah, I can see that. Slade Nagel. What did Neilio say? No, the real noise about Lee Pack potentially making a move, but it could happen. No real noise. He's done a great job.
yeah.
And
He was.
I don't know if you saw this,
Yeah,
but Coach Dana Dimel passed away the other day. He was the offensive coordinator for a long time there at K-State. Shout out to the family in there and Fitzy and Neilio again on that one. Man, Tim Fitzgerald made me freaking cry watching that damn video that he put out that next day about that, man. Love those guys though. And Coach Dimel was a good guy. Funny guy, man. He has some stories. That guy is
not on the deceased portion, but OK Preps has had a hell of a week. Broken Arrow, Jinx as of tonight, and Union all without their head coach for the football program. All three schools.
Whoa! What happened? Fighting or something?
It was Jinx is used to winning championships. And I think that Union, I think Brian Frederick is I think that's it, right? I think he's finally he's kind of just done. I don't know. BA sucked. BA was really, really bad. But yeah, man, the three three of the best programs in OK Preps, no coaching. So there's some whispering that maybe a certain Bixby coach might be interested in Jinx. I don't know if you do that. I think you're running everything, but with Bixby and the trouble that they've been in with the Walters, maybe that's good for him to bounce out. But
what?
I want to talk that.
All right. Well,
yeah,
so other coaches in trouble around the state of Oklahoma, but apparently not Mike Gundy. I don't know. Maybe everybody is possible. They fired Kevin Wilson from Tulsa. No, and I will say this, as far as I like the Brendan Marion. I hadn't really thought about Brendan Marion a whole lot for that head coaching job. I forget that he's up for a head coaching job because we're talking about him as I don't think he was ever a serious candidate for Oklahoma for the job.
No.
And I don't call it a gimmick. I know it. I know people think it's gimmicky. I think it's a damn good offense. I'll tell you that. It works. It works. I was surprised that they beat Boise State this weekend.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't care about Boise State. I don't think the Mountain West is good. So I'm just going to say that. But
I'm not a big go-go fan. I think that the way that
I like the way they run football, man.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a. I think that it's a situation where you give SEC defensive coordinators an iPad, they could have it, hammered out pretty quickly. Yeah, Benji, same thing. I saw it.
We pulled it up. We were talking about it. Fresno State. No, they already did that. Jenna. Matt Ince is gone. Took Fresno State job, and that screwed up one of their recruits that ended up going to Notre Dame. There's probably going to be a couple more.
He's not getting it done there, old Lincoln. Any big defensive recruit that he gets, they want money, and it's going to be another Bear Alexander situation again. But I don't think
South Carolina should still not be in the playoffs. Just so everybody knows.
I think South Carolina would win the whole thing if they got in. No, there's some craziness. There was a rumor. I don't know if it's a shit rumor or if it's a legit rumor, but there was a rumor about Lenore Sellers maybe wanting to bounce out and transfer.
I have heard that. No, that's not. I don't know that that's just a rumor. I think there's been some talk. Listen, you're going to tell me that we were just talking about Jaden Jackson and he was getting all this tampering done. Lenore Sellers named the price, bruh. There's a lot of people that would love to get him out of there. And I mean, I think he's got he's got to get better as a passer for sure.
Yeah.
But do you think he's going to do it under Beamer? Because I don't.
No, I don't.
I mean, I know people like Beamer. I'm not a big Beamer guy, but I just think that he's a clownish figure.
I'm indifferent. It's like I said, when you got the antics and you're winning, it's endearing.
When you get the everything whenever you're winning games, but it's not whenever you're not. And
it's obnoxious, and that goes. That goes for 2-hour opening press conferences too. People are going to have a lot of issues with that this coming year, because I think this year you're going to get more of a all right, cut the shit, coach. Like, what's really happening from a lot of people.
Yeah. Sellers and Norman. Hey man, Sellers is. I mean, I can see that.
Yeah, Levy getting Sellers, but he's got Van Buren. I think
Van Buren's a stud too, by the way, and they may end up losing their number one guy out of Mississippi because of it, because Van Buren's a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost a double-edged sword for Leb, because if the kid doesn't end up signing, then what? If you lose Van Buren, poor Leb. All right, we got to get out of here, man. We've been going for a while. Coop, I appreciate you coming in, man. I enjoyed this conversation. It was fun, as always.
I always do too, and especially late at night when I'm 2 hours past my brain working any longer. But it's. I will just say this. I'll just say this, man. It's only there's going to be more rocking of the boat here in the next couple days, and
sure.
The portal's not even open yet. I mean, we're still a couple days away. All these transfers. Listen, guys, it's you saw a lot of transfer portal, heavy teams not work out this past year. I'm wondering to see how this operates this next year. Do you go mercenary route? And I hate the fact that I clowned on Ole Miss, in Ohio State at the beginning of the year because of the mercenary route and going hired for the big guns. But now Oklahoma kind of has to do it.
Well, you have to go. You need to go and get. But I don't see them still going that heavy.
I think that there's certain positions. I think there's certain positions. No, I think it's different this year for Oklahoma. Like Ole Miss went out and, they went out and upgraded their defensive tackles. They upgraded, for the biggest things. We just need difference makers. You don't have to have the best guy in the portal. If you get them, that's great, but it needs to be a culture fit. But also at the same time, I think that there's a little bit more of we just need winners. And so I think that you might take a little bit more risks in the NIL this year. If you're Brent Venables, because you're going to have to.
Yeah. You're right. Hey, that's an underrated reference there, Neilio. Underrated reference. The VB boys. Like it. We've devolved into this now. It is late at night. Very late at night. Coop, thank you for coming in, my man. Appreciate you. I didn't even mean to keep you on this long. Hell, I didn't mean to stay on this long. Shit. But I enjoyed it. It's always fun. Folks, I'm giving away. I got to give away a t-shirt. Let me give it away. Let's see. Oh, I'll tell you what. Go through and randomly pick somebody out of the chat, because I don't want to be the one to do it. You got to do it.
Here we go. I can just do. I'm looking at you, looking at the screen. All right, I am on Baylor Pittenger.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a newbie. Baylor Pittenger. Okay. Now, in order to get this, Baylor, you must send me a email.
See, I think the email is a better idea. When you used to ask them for nudes, I didn't think it sent the right message. So sending the email is better.
You'd be surprised at how well it did for me. Send me an email. There you go.
That's
You know, it is what it is.
Nothing good happens after midnight.
T-shirt for Baylor Pittenger. So if you're not still on here, make sure that you hit me up there. Somebody let them know. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's give away one more too. Let's give away one more. I'm going to give away one to Sooners to win. We'll give you one. We'll give you one to Sooners to win. It. Send me one as well, and we will send one that way. Benji, I'll send you a T-shirt, but it won't be horns up. It'll be something on it, but it won't be that.
If you turn it upside down, it'll be horns up.
Well, you could. You wear it as a diaper, maybe. Something like that.
I'll send Sooners to win. Jay and I have a couple of in Latrell We Trust T-shirts, and so we'll send you a couple of those.
That's funny. That's fucking great. SDR needs one too. Hey, maybe next time. You guys should have got. Did we get to how many likes do we get? Yeah, we only went to 79. If we'd have hit 100, I would have given away another one. But no, we're done. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in. Coop, thank you so much. Make sure everybody knows how to find you.
Yeah, check us out. Jay and I found on Unfair Sports, Sooner or Later podcast. You go to your browser on your cellular phone, your iPad, or your laptop, and you just put in Unfair Sports into the little YouTube browser. You will find us. Facts. Make sure you guys get over there.
Hey, I will be back here in the morning for Rise and Shine College Football. I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about, but we'll figure something out. Try to get a hold of somebody. Oh, I just lost him again. Maybe he just left. That's possible. He's probably sick of my ass at this point. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Coop, for coming in and joining us. Norman says hello and goodbye. We'll see you all on the next one.